Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Before we get started, just want to let you know that the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. And can you believe that we've had 7 months without an NFL game? It's crazy, right? Well, good thing that's over. NFL is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. This week, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Check the app to see what you get. All you have to do is download the app and use the promo code SOTS. Use the promo code SOTS to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. Once again, SOTS, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. And if you or anybody else you know is dealing with a gambling problem, all you have to do is call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit their website, www.1800gambler.net. Also, 1-877-8-HOPENY. All right, if you're in the New York area. Please play responsibly, and on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resorts, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Voided in Ontario. See DraftKings.com/football for eligible terms and responsible game resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after assurance, and eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
All right, Who Dat Nation? The time for talk is over.
Oh, my God.
The New Orleans Saints will embark on a brand new season. 2023 NFL season is here. If you're listening to this right now, we're about 6 days away for the New Orleans Saints home opener versus the Tennessee Titans. This is going to be, of course, a different type of feel. The New Orleans Saints aren't taking on an NFC foe. They're actually taking on an AFC foe. And we all know what the Tennessee Titans possess. I mean, they are a run-first football team. They are physical. They are nasty. They want to get down and dirty in the trenches. And we know that the team is led by Derrick Henry, the offensive juggernaut. I mean, this guy is an absolute beast, man. A big physical specimen, can wear down your defense. So the New Orleans Saints indeed better be ready. And of course, we're going to be talking about that throughout the week, about the New Orleans Saints and the key matchups and what we need to see. But of course, we want to talk a little bit about our favorite Swiss Army knife, Taysom Hill. According to sources, Taysom Hill will be the third quarterback. That's right, the third quarterback on the roster leading up to this game Sunday versus the Tennessee Titans. And it's a shock to a lot of people, you know, a lot of the onlookers, the reporters that cover the New Orleans Saints inside the facility. They'll tell you, you know, that Taysom Hill played the majority of his snaps at tight end. And this is something that we know that the Saints tried to kind of experiment with. It started last season. You know, the Saints tried to move him to tight end. Of course, he ended up playing that same role that he always played, which is a little bit of quarterback, a little bit of running back, a little bit of tight end. So the New Orleans Saints actually adding him as the third quarterback is a little bit of a shock, but I really don't look at it that way. I don't look at it as a shock because, we know that the New Orleans Saints are going to use Taysom Hill in a multifaceted of ways. We know that Taysom Hill sometimes is that lightning rod, that spark that the New Orleans Saints need. My biggest concern, to be honest with you, is how Derek Carr is going to be able to coexist with this whole Taysom Hill experiment. Like, we know that Drew Brees, towards the latter part of his career, he couldn't get the ball down the field as effectively as he once did. The deep balls were not as accurate as they once were. So they would bring in Taysom Hill because he had a little bit of a stronger arm. And also, if the Saints need to run a little bit of RPO, they'll bring him in. And I think at that stage, Drew understood, it wasn't about an ego thing. Drew understood his limitations, and you got to give Drew respect for that, because a lot of quarterbacks wouldn't even want to be in that position. They would rather just go down with the ship. But that just tells you how much of a team guy that Drew Brees was. But what will happen with Derek Carr? Derek Carr is coming into the 2023 season, the new starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, with a huge chip on his shoulder. I'm talking huge, right? I mean, the Raiders said pretty much, we don't want you anymore. Pretty much said that we ain't never going to win nothing with you. So he's coming to the New Orleans Saints with a whole different attitude. And he's going to want to get the majority of the snaps. And, I still got my questions about Derek Carr. Not so much about him being a really good quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. But I know that, just looking at him and evaluating him, he has a little bit of an ego. That's not just a chip on his shoulder. That's an ego as well. So I want to see how the New Orleans Saints are going to have this whole Taysom Hill experiment going in 2023. Look, I don't expect for Taysom Hill to be out there throwing the ball all over the place. I expect for him to kind of be in that same role he once was, in the shotgun, a little bit of RPO to help out Jamaal Williams as he takes the majority of the snaps against the Tennessee Titans in week 1. Look, I just want to see Taysom Hill go back to where he was. He was extremely effective. He was sometimes the best player on the field. I can remember week 1 against the Atlanta Falcons last year, that big 70-plus yard run that he had, man. I mean, it seemed like the Atlanta Falcons had the momentum going. And then all of a sudden, here comes Taysom Hill with that big run. And then he also had a touchdown in that game. So we know what Taysom Hill can do. The wild card game against the Minnesota Vikings, people will argue and say that he was the best player on the field then. But I just want to see Taysom Hill back to that original role. I also want to see him a little bit more healthier. He's been dealing with injuries throughout his career. He's extremely effective when he's on the field. So the New Orleans Saints definitely need to use him in a multifaceted of ways. And hopefully Derek Carr can understand how much of a weapon Taysom Hill actually is. And also I want to talk about Jamaal Williams. Jamaal Williams is going to be the starting running back for the New Orleans Saints. Some people look at Jamaal Williams as just a player who's a big bruising back and get you a yard or two. But I think Jamaal Williams is much more than that. I think that a lot of the teams that he was on, teams wanted to use him as that battering ram running back. But he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run in between the tackles, and he can give you those tough yardage. My biggest concern is who is going to step up? Who is the guy that's going to come in to be able to give him a little bit of relief? Or is it going to be the Jamaal Williams show all day, all night? That's why I'm saying the things I'm saying about Taysom Hill, because I feel like Taysom probably can be, that backup running back, give them the ball, let them tote the mail a little bit. But I want to see some of these younger guys be able to step up, man. I mean, the Saints got some really talented young running backs. They got Mims, who they just signed on the practice squad. I think that he is a really good running back. He came out of Fresno State. He was a teammate of Jake Hayner. I look at these guys, and I'm not expecting for them to go 100 yards and hit their head on the goalpost. But, when Jamaal Williams needs to get a Gatorade break, can you come in the game, catch the ball? Can you help sustain a drive? Can you run your routes crisp and with discipline What are they going to do at the running back position? I'm just hoping that Jamaal Williams have a really good outing for the next couple of weeks to really show people that he's more than just a short yardage back. He led the NFL in rushing touchdowns last year, for God's sakes. All right. But a lot of those touchdowns did come on to one, but I think it was the way that Detroit was using them. Now it is time for Jamaal Williams to break out of his shell and show the entire NFL that, it wasn't just an outlier that he scored 17 touchdowns. He is a really good back, and he deserves to be in a conversation as one of the best young backs in the league. Even though he's a little bit up there in age, he's been in the league for a while. But just to show that he belongs in the conversation is not just short yardage touchdowns. But I'm excited about week one, man. I'm excited about week one and what things are we going to be looking at and things we're going to be looking forward to. Keep it locked right here to the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. I'm excited to launch the brand new State of the Saints podcast on HNSN, the network. Thank you very much to them for reaching out to me and giving me the opportunity to be able to do a weekly Saints show on a podcasting network, man. I mean, I'm honored for that. I mean, this has been a great year just for me as a sports journalist, as a podcaster, and a lot of people, I have to give respect to, they're just giving me an opportunity to show what I can do, and I really do appreciate that. But the first episode of the State of the Saints podcast on HNSN will be available on Tuesdays. It's going to be a little bit of a different type feel, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a little bit of a different show, but we're still going to be talking Saints football, but we're also going to be talking about what's going on around the NFL as well. So hopefully you can tune in, download the HNSN app to make sure that you will be able to check out the shows every single week. This has been the State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. And also you can check me out on X at TJAY Jones 8. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?